Hey kids, Mr. Glenn here, hope you're well. So, we've got our page set up. What we want to do now is we want to make a backdrop. We want to make this repeating pattern, okay? So from my color palette here, I've got my color palette here. I'll have this in my workbook. And so what I want to do is use these colors or a shade of these, whichever one I want, as my backdrop. Now, what I want to do is make this repeating pattern, okay? So I'm going to go to my workbook and I've got my color palette ready in here. So I've used my screenshot to put this into my workbook. Yours may look slightly different, but I know that I've got this here as my beginning color. I'm going to go and use the green. I like this. And this is D69D, okay? That's my color that I'm going to start with my pattern. First job is go and grab a shape. Now this is important because what I wanted these waves in the background. I wanted this illusion of waves. So you can copy me if you want. You can use different shades or different shapes, but whichever style you choose now will probably need to be recreated later on. Okay, so let's go into circles. And when I go and create a circle in here inside Google Docs, I need to go and just hold down. I need to hold down my control. Okay, so that I can go and grab. What am I holding down here? Shift. Sorry, not control. Hold down Shift so that I can pull this out into a regular size, and it isn't sort of just making sort of ellipses here. Okay, if I hold down Alt and you click, you will find that your shapes will go from the center. Okay, so you can experiment with that. Okay, and you just want a simple oval or as close to circle as you possibly can get. Okay, like that. So standard colors have these borders and this fill. All right, so what I want to do is I want a custom color, and my custom color is in my palette. Okay, let's go in here. This is 00D69D. Okay, so 00D69D. So I go to my color, I go to my border, I go to custom, and what I want in here, you can see it's got the hex ready. In here it was 00D69D. Okay, and you can see that it jumps immediately to that color that's in my palette. Okay, so I'm going to go like that, and my background now is set in here. So I also want this to be my fill, and when I go back into my color palettes in here, you'll notice straight away that when I go and highlight this and go to my bucket tool to fill it in, you can see that my color is set there, giving the value in the on hover menu as well. So this is my on hover. So when I go to my on hover in here and I hover my mouse over it, it gives me some text that tells me what color it is I'm choosing inside my color palette. Done. Okay, what I want to do next is I need to go and copy and paste this, and I need a complementary or I need a contrasting color for my palette. Okay, here this is why we were talking about having something that is sort of, you've got a nice spectrum of colors, because now you can go and get a background that is going to be complementary or is going to be a contrast. So I'm going to use A1F567. A1F567. So I'm going to go to my workbook, my page, and what I want to do in here is I want to go to my fill, and I want to go and A1F567, I think was the color. Let's go and double check what my color is. 567, A1F567, there. And I can go and change my background, my outline as well. Go and hold down Shift and pull this in. And now I'm going to use my guides. So I need to go and turn this on. So you can see I'm going to go and use my guides. You can see that I need this in the center there, so I've got that crosshair like that. Okay, this is probably a little bit too wide. And what I'm going to do now is use my arrow keys to very gently nudge it into the center. Now it's not really working. Here's the trick. With one hand, hold down Shift, and with the other hand, use your arrow keys. And you'll see that it breaks down this huge jump into tiny pieces. Watch, I'm going to hold down Shift, and then I'm going to use my arrow keys. And when I start, you can probably hear me hitting the keyboard, and I can very gently nudge it using my Shift and my arrow keys rather than my mouse. Sometimes my mouse isn't very good. Right, so now I'm starting to get this nice arrangement of color. What I can do next is I need to go and copy and paste this. And I might choose 2 or 3 now. I might just choose 2 or 3 extras. So I'm going to go and just hold down Shift and bring that. You can see as I bring it in, you can see it measures the sizes. So there, I'm going to go and offer that up. Now what I want to do now is go and change it into my other color like that. And hold down Shift and nudge it into place like so. Let's go and check this out. I think it needs to be a pixel over and maybe a pixel down. It's not quite as I wanted it. Let's go and make sure it's in the center. Good. Good. And get this one centered as well to the eye. Good. And what I want to do now is contrast the color again. So make another layer on top. And this time I want to go and change my fill to this one. Shrink it down. And I just want an eye on this one. Go and judge that by eye. Okay. So I have a style. Yours can be slightly different. Okay. Yours could be different shapes. So let's have a look at what other shapes. I'm going to go and just pause this now and you'll see it sort of appear with different shapes. So let's go and have a look at what they look like. And poof, like that. We have triangles and squares. So you can arrange these however you like. So it's up to you what kind of style it is that you would like. I like the circles. The only reason being is that when I come to repeat them later on, and we're going to make a repeating pattern later on, you can see that the different colors and different styles. Circles offer themselves quite nicely. Squares and what have you, you will have to arrange them, but you'll have to arrange them slightly like a brick wall, but it'll still have an amazing repeating pattern effect. Especially when we come to do colours and we arrange our colours as well. So people who've got different colours and you want to go and change your palettes later on, we can show you how that works. But for the moment, you just need a repeating pattern like this to start with. So once you've got your shapes like this, we'll show you what's going to happen next.